One question from an audience for you, Sophiko. How unified are the opposition parties against the Dream Party? And then also, I wanted to just throw to you, you've been covering Georgia for decades now. Like, how just contextualize this moment for us in the biggest terms. Kind of what's at stake tomorrow.
I'm not sure about tomorrow, definitely, because it is all set and it is, we all know what will happen tomorrow. But to put into perspective the moment we are now, this protest, I think it is very important. I think it's one of the most important events that I have covered in my entire career, and I was covering from 90s. That it is very important point for Georgia. So where it will go, will this how this protest will unfold, what is the future for the people who are standing outside, and how strong this movement will be. So I think it is very important in determining the Georgia's path in many years to come, and this is the moment that will determine Georgia's path in many years to come. And concerning the opposition, we've seen that all the four opposition parties and the coalitions that have gained seats in the parliament during the elections, they refused to enter the parliament, and they are very united in their fight against the Georgian Dream, I would say. And they say they will not give the legitimacy to this government, to this parliament. And so far they are fulfilling their word, and none of the opposition party members have been in the parliament building and participated in the parliamentary session, and they are not in the forefront of the protest, I would say, because this protest that we see is more organized by the civil society. We don't see the political leaders there. I mean, they are standing, but they are not leading the protest. We don't hear they are not, as usually we're used to. They have the megaphones that they called for people to do this and that. This protest doesn't have it. The people are getting out and they are standing, sometimes in a silence. And so the leaders of the opposition parties are not leading this protest. It is the civil society, young people mostly, who are in the leadership for this protest.
And that's a very good thing too, because in some ways I think people were frustrated by the opposition parties. They didn't lose the election, but still, the protests that we've seen are a bunch of, they're big stages, loud music, and opposition leaders doing brave heart imitations, and people were just getting tired of it. So I think the opposition leaders realized they needed to take a step back, because this has been a grassroots movement that just came up, and they're just staying out of the way in a very good way. And also, I've got to say, if Sophiko says this is the biggest thing she's covered since the 90s, then pay attention.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to just ask you all, we only have a few minutes left. There's a few questions I haven't gotten to on the side, but before I go through those, I'm just wondering if there's anything else you guys feel like I haven't asked that you'd like to say, or make sure that people understand.
I just feel like it's funny how the government has no proper connection with the people. Like they're not having any conversation with the people. That's how I see it. They live in this bubble, and I think people really got fed up with this, because it's I still think they can't understand how powerful people can become during this time if they're fed up. So they have to watch out for that, I think.
Anyone else have anything that you feel like it's important to understand that I haven't asked?
I think just that these young Georgians are fighting to claim their future. They feel like it's being taken away. And they're standing out in the streets, breathing in just massive amounts of tear gas, taking beatings to prove that this is not Russia. And I think they've made that point very well. Also, in terms of who the government serves one man. And that's been the problem for a while now. And I think the Georgian people realize that, and that is the fundamental problem here. And that one man now sees Russia as the only way to stay in power.
Two questions to close us out. One from an audience member again. What are your thoughts on what is needed from the international community to make a lasting change in the current situation? And then I'm just going to read this now. Well, I'll get back to that one. So let's just talk about, I mean, there was just a meeting with Trump. I don't know, that's sort of an unanswerable question, but what could the international community do that would actually make an impact here?
When we talk with the protesters, there's a big hope that the Georgia will not be abandoned, and it is very important because, as we've said, it's a very small country with 3.4, less than 4 million people living here, and it is so important that for the protesters to have this feeling that they are not alone. That it is not the struggle only for this nation, but it has the bigger picture of the nation struggling for striving and fighting for their independence, and to become the part of the Europe, to become the part of this club that gives you, that protects your human rights, and etc., etc. And it is such a big hope that the United States and the Western countries will not abandon. And there's also kind of they really want more drastic measures to be taken. It's not only the concerns that sometimes we're reading in the statements and etc. They're telling us in an interview, we're tired reading about that, how West is concerned about the situation in Georgia. We want the real steps. We want the real steps to be taken. So those who are abusing the power, those who are intimidating, beating up the protesters, who are jailing protesters without trumped up the cases and etc., to be brought to be accountable, and that they think that the West should take more strong step in this regard.
Yeah. Will, your article in The Hill pointed out 30,000 Georgians served. You made some strong points on this in your article from today.
Yeah, 30,000 Georgians served in Iraq or Afghanistan. And in terms of Afghanistan, Georgia was the #1 contributor per capita. And again, for a country with 3.75 million people, it was the #4 contributor overall, not per capita, but overall. More Georgians died in Afghanistan than any country except for Denmark. And they, those sacrifices were for a common idea of democracy. And I think the US needs to understand that its honor is on the line in this situation. It would not take a lot for the US to help. And I don't mean, right now, this billionaire, he lives in a very strange, if we bring up the global war party, it'll take an hour to talk about, but he believes that they're in some crazy theories, like conspiracy theories. And he thinks right now that this is a Western George Soros-backed revolution, and it's not. This is a grassroots thing that's happening. So when we say we need Western support, we say we don't want to be abandoned, but also we need leaders to come here and stand on the ground. We need them to come and show up and just stand there and bear witness, and also show the government that they're watching, literally. And that would be the best thing right now that I think, all these congressmen who talk about Georgia and go on, and Foreign Relations Committee, it's time for them to come here now. That's what I would say.
So it's approaching 1 o'clock. I have a million other questions for you, as does everyone else, but we might be cut off pretty soon. I really want everyone who's tuned in to follow these guys' work, which is exquisite and important. And also just please stay safe, all of you, over whatever's to come. I just will be thinking of you and hope that things that you can stay safe. Thank you so much. I'm going to log off and end this because we probably will be cut off soon. But thank you so much to all of you. I'm seeing messages from everyone tuning in to stay safe as well.
Thank you very much.
We'll be paying attention. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for hosting us and paying attention.
Yeah, and this is going to go live. There'll be a link people can watch for the next, it'll be public, so it'll be out there and you can share with anyone else as well. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Bye.